Hello, everyone. Welcome to URLOVE Mystic Philosophy. I'm Kathryn. And today I want to tackle one of those big questions. What is enlightenment? We're on this journey of spiritual awakening. Maybe we've taken some plant medicine, or we've chanted mantras, or we've been on silent retreats, we've been on Vipassana retreats, and we're having these amazing experiences. And you might ask yourself, well, am I enlightened? Is it fair to say I'm an enlightened being now? And that word is so loaded. And I remember my spiritual guide, one of my foremost spiritual teachers, who I refer to as Grandpa Guru, that he really didn't like using that word because it was so loaded and confusing. And so I was reading one of his books today, and the word that he used was jnanam. And jnanam is a Sanskrit word that means knowledge, wisdom. And you might say, well, knowledge of what? Knowledge of that deeper truth, knowledge of the deepest truth. And you might ask, jnanam, knowledge, that's what enlightenment is? But let me take you on a short journey into this tradition of Vedanta. And Vedanta is the mystical tradition of these spiritual traditions that have come out of the Vedas on the spiritual landscape of India. And they're so potent. And many of us are familiar with yoga and maybe even Ayurveda, the lifestyle wisdom that is the sister tradition of yoga. And Vedanta is like what I think of as the mother tradition, because Vedanta, again, is about gaining that final culminating wisdom. Okay? And so wisdom of what? Knowledge of what? There's so much wisdom to be attained in this world. Vedanta, as taught through this tradition, is this idea that we gain remembrance, realization, a cognitive realization and remembrance of who we are at our core and how we relate to ourselves, the world, the totality of this existence, and the Creator, or you could say the divine mystery. And so this tradition of Vedanta understands that after we have pursued the world, we've pursued maybe school, maybe we've gotten married or had relationships, maybe we've even had children and have a career, and we even go and do service in the world. And there's so many pursuits. And yet, even when we're filled with riches and we're just serving the world, we may find that deep within us, it seems like something isn't quite resolved. Something doesn't feel quite settled yet. The word they give to that in Indian spirituality is mumukshu. It's a Sanskrit word that means seeker. And sometimes people become a seeker before they've pursued hardly anything at all, because they're just in touch with this deep inner angst or ache that says, I need to know the deeper truth. And I was there. That was everything that my life meant to me, was a seeking of that deeper truth. So if you're in that place, I am with you, and I know how intense that feels, that feeling. So according to the traditions of the Vedas, enlightenment, or you could say gaining jnanam, gaining that spiritual knowledge, is really having a remembrance, a realization of who you are in relationship to yourself, to the totality of existence, and to the Creator. You could say God, I say Ishvara in the Sanskrit text, or the divine mystery. And how might we understand that? Well, we were given this very cool narrative or story about the 10th man. And I'm going to give you sort of a crude expression of it, but it's shared in different spiritual traditions. And the idea is that these 10 people go out on this adventure and they're told, make sure you're leaving with 10 people, make sure you come back with 10 people. And so make sure you count and make sure you have all 10 people upon your return. And so the group goes out and they have this adventure, and then it's time to come back. And so someone says, okay, it's time to count. I need to count and make sure we have 10 people. And he counts everyone and he only has 9. He's like, oh no, we've lost someone. We only have 9 people. Oh, what are we going to do? And he's feeling this feeling of, desperation, like, oh no, I've really blown it now. But who is that 10th person? That 10th person is he himself. He forgot to count himself. And so that simple realization is an expression of the spiritual jnana, the spiritual knowledge that one can gain of oneself and how we relate again to ourselves, to the totality of existence, and to the creator or the divine mystery. And in the tradition of Vedanta, gaining this wisdom does settle that angst of the desperate seeker, so that you can then relax more and be a little more chill on the spiritual path and continue to learn and grow and evolve and heal different layers of karmas and ancestral wounds and childhood wounds, but with a little bit more lightness, a little bit more ease, a little bit more flow and grace. So I wanted to share that with you because I find this idea, this understanding of enlightenment as jnanam, gaining that spiritual wisdom of myself and how I relate to the totality of existence and to the creator, the divine mystery, as very soothing to my soul. And I want to share that with you. And you are welcome to email me at info@kathrynjulian.com. And there are beautiful teachers that teach Vedanta. And it's very beautiful to learn this along with these other modalities you may be pursuing. Maybe it's plant medicine, Reiki, chakra activations, all these amazing modalities that are opening up us to the greater reality of how we're connected and how we are really one at our core. And so this is so beautiful, and I'm so blessed to witness humanity going through this collective awakening. And I wanted to offer this little jewel that maybe not as popularized, maybe not as front and center stage as say Ayahuasca, but is so beautiful and really does give a lot of solace to spiritual aspirants and does really give some resolve and contentment and peace that can really help you on your spiritual path. Om peace.